without further ado, sit back, relax.
It's
get
time
your fancy
for a good
water.
old-fashioned Q&A,
That's
MMA
right.
fans.
This is the one. This is the segment.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment
Everyone's
has
favorite
arrived
segment of the week.
to hear from the man
Where you
himself,
get the truth about the
Ariel
sport of
Helwani.
MMA. The unfiltered truth.
Live from the Box Studios in beautiful
Nothing
New
but the
York
truth.
City, it's On the Nose.
Where we tell it
And
like it
now,
is.
To answer your
That's right.
questions,
That's right.
get out of your seats
Out of
and
your
on
seats,
your feet
on your
because
feet.
here he is.
Here I am.
Ariel Helwani.
Thank you, Mike Heck. I appreciate it. Yes, it's everyone's favorite segment of the week. It is On the Nose, where I answer your questions, and there are a lot of them. And, you know, Frank and I were talking before the show, you know, maybe I'm answering too many. Maybe I'm putting too much pressure. I mean, right now we're at 103. I know a lot of those are some replies. People like to reply. But we were sort of dabbling. What were we dabbling with? Like a random number that you would throw out? Like you would say, okay, this week we're going to answer 31. And we'd have a counter up there, and I would just answer 31. Not 30, not 32, 31, right?
That's the spirit, yeah.
You think it's too much. You want to get home. I mean, it's just dragging.
No, I mean, well, it's funny to watch you get exhausted from answering questions.
It really gets exhausting. But I love it. I look forward to it. It's the perfect way to end the week as far as the shows are concerned, to send you off to the back end of the weekend. And I don't know, is it going to come up here? I don't know. But a lot of people were, you know, one of the big stories going into this weekend, of course, was our, I don't want to call it a bet, an agreement, a challenge between myself and Casey O'Neill, King Casey. And of course, it was that she would wear the Thug Nose t-shirt at one of the media events. And so the first official one of the week was the media day, the mini press conferences that they have in front of the media in Houston. And a few people were reaching out to me saying she wasn't wearing the shirt. Shout out to Sarah Rose, who wrote to me that someone asked her about the shirt at the press conference. And then upon further investigation, we found out that it was our very own Jose Youngs, who's on the scene, who asked Casey O'Neill about the shirt, the Thug Nose shirt, the hottest t-shirt in the MMA merch world. And so in case you missed it, here is Casey O'Neill being asked about the shirt. Where's Ariel's shirt?
I have it in the bag, but it's branded, so I wasn't allowed to wear it.
Branded, so she wasn't allowed to wear it. I mean, I've seen other people with their shirt, but you know, as they say, haters make us famous. However, so I felt a certain way. I was like, is she being serious? Is she not being serious? Did she fumble the proverbial bag? Did she blow it, like Billy Madison once famously said? However, I did get a text from her later on, unsolicited, and she sent me this photo. And so there she is, clearly at the UFC offices, clearly as you can see, and if you're listening, she is wearing the Thug Nose shirt. And so I asked the crew in the back, Frank, does this count? Is that enough, or did she not?
It counts, yeah.
It counts?
It totally counts.
I mean, the question is, did she succumb to the pressure? Did she get nervous? Did she get cold feet? Did she quickly take the photo and take off the shirt and then went with whatever she was wearing? Like, there's a few follow-ups, but you're saying that it counts?
It totally counts.
What do you think, GC? Does it count?
Yeah, I think it counts.
You think it counts, huh? Wow.
If she wins.
Only if she wins.
Yeah,
Got to win. Virna didn't win. She still was immortalized.
Yeah, if Casey wins, immortalization.
Now, does the immortalization, is it that photo? Because I feel like it has to be that photo, right?
I think the one with the boxing gloves.
It has to be like you did it. You infiltrated the system.
I like the sign, yeah. I think the sign's a nice touch.
I was going to say, like, I told it like the framing of the photo wasn't tremendous. Like, could we see it again? Because I think her head gets cut off. It's like, I
think we could touch this
the
up.
red on the nose? That's her nail. Wow, okay.
Oh, is it, what is it? Is it red? Or is it pink?
Fingernail.
You know what?
The monitor in here.
Did she do it?
Can you zoom in and enhance?
Let's see. Looking at the photo here. Can we, no, I can't see. That actually looks red, if I'm being honest. It actually, I mean, it's
It's in the family.
It's in the things are happening here. All I'll say is things are happening. Frank says it counts. GC says if she wins. So, all right, we'll see. But I wanted to provide that update for all of you in case you were waiting, as I was, with bated breath, whether or not she actually pulled it off. Now, do we have breaking news music? Once again, El Cubano has been beaten to the proverbial punch. He is not first. Orenthal James is first. And I've been notified that there's a lot of long-winded questions this week, my friends. I mean, you're killing me here with the long-winded. But away we go. Is it fair to assume that the Birmingham, it's like Melbourne, screw job is in the works for poor Leon Edwards? I know you told Leon fans to breathe yesterday, but with the announcement of Usman's hand surgery and targeted summer return, the writing is on the wall. If Khamzat obliterates Burns on April 9th, the world will be calling for Khamzat title shot. Not only would it line up perfectly with an Usman summer return, but is also a more attractive headliner for International Fight Week. Yes, I understand this, and the mission for his team should remain the same. Get that fight booked before April 9th. You must, at all costs, get that fight booked, because you're right. Khamzat goes in there and obliterates Gilbert. Khamzat goes in there and just wins against Gilbert. It's going to get dicey. Get that fight booked. Now, the photos were released by Dana White. The surgery, gruesome. His team says we'll be back by the summer. Leon's team tells me we're being told we're still in line for the summer. But you're right. It does make things a little more interesting, but they're still being assured that they're in line. So I'm going to believe that. But yes, it is going to get, I mean, I said breathe. I should have wrote breathe for now, because if they don't get this secured by April 9th, and if that Khamzat fight happens on April 9th, yeah, it's going to get, I mean, there's going to be a push. Because you beat Gilbert Burns, like, you're right there. You can then justify a Khamzat title shot. There's no doubt about it. Get that fight booked before April 9th if you're Leon's team. El Cubano, second. Hola, Ariel. Fill in the blanks. If Robert Whittaker loses on Saturday, his next opponent will be in the division. So 2 blanks will be blank in the blank division. Man, that's an interesting one. I mean, I still think it will be in the middleweight division. I mean, could it be like a Jack Hermanson type? Could it be even a Sean Strickland type? Because again, if you lose to the champion, it's not like you're going all the way back down. A Sean Strickland type, a Jack Hermanson type. I would suspect the Brunson Cannonier winner gets the shot, but I think it would be someone like that. But definitely someone in the middleweight division, in my opinion. Carmine, hey Ariel, it's interesting. It's an uninteresting dynamic with Jake Paul owning part of the UFC parent company and also being the most outspoken person for fighter pay. Wouldn't this annoy Endeavor more than anything, given that he's trying to take away from the bottom dollar? I mean, he just has shares at the moment, so it's nothing really too crazy. Let's not get crazy. It's not in the boardroom meetings talking about the future of the UFC, but so for now, I don't think there's much of a connection there. Naresh, namaste, Ariel. Namaste, my friend. I'm a regular watcher of your show on YouTube and have honest feedback to provide. Okay. The camera angle switching during your intro on last week's On the Nose segment was an eyesore, and I'm not a fan of it. I'm not sure if anyone else felt the same, but just thought I'd let you know. I like the camera switching. How do you guys feel about this in the back? Frank, you feel like Naresh has a legitimate bone to pick with this?
I think the camera switching's fine.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Naresh. It literally lasts 30 seconds. I mean, lighten up, Francis. It's not that big a deal.
Look away.
Yeah, look away. Close your eyes. Just listen to the music. Question, have you felt the quality of contestants, and especially winners in Tough, decline over the years? Yeah. I feel like they've declined since 2010. Granted, there are outliers, and also the fact that the talent pool may be getting thinner. Yeah. There's the difference is when Tough started, there were like 12 events a year and like 100 people on the roster. Now there's 43 events per year, not to mention PFL, not to mention Bellator, not to mention one championship, not to mention this, that, and the other. I mean, not to mention Cage Warriors and all these places. I've never been in favor of going back to Tough. I thought it should have been done after the move to ESPN. They wanted the content. Contender Series is the perfect evolution of Tough. And that's why you see lesser talent. Because who wants, as Nicholas Maximov said on Monday, who wants to go through that rigmarole when you can just go in Contender Series and bypass it? Plus, you get that horrible contract. Who wants it? Those days are over. P.S. You totally did have top first and not chronological last week in El Cubano Reign Supreme. You're right. And this week I've gone chronological, so I'm sorry. I have rectified my mistake. I apologize to everyone. Hugo, what's up, Ariel? At 270, we saw Brandon wear white shorts with gold letters rather than the traditional black and gold befitting a champion. Yes. Personally, I like this move by Venom. Just wish it had gold accents. Who cares? Moving forward, if Venom hears this, I'm all for uniforms. I'm not. Hope they add more colors. Sure. And fighters aren't restricted wearing shorts based on their respective country. Fine. Also, do you know if Bellator has an exclusive deal to hold events at the Forum in Inglewood since the UFC has only been there twice? Not that I know, but I know they have a deal with not a deal, but a good relationship with them and MSG, which owns the Forum, but not an exclusive deal. Lastly, if Moreno Fig 4 is made, do you think it has to end definitively, a la Pacquiao Marquez? No. P.S. Please bring back at the start of every show, I'll be remiss if I don't wish you a National So-So Day. It was a thing with DC and I. Who am I going to say it to? The first guy. You want me to tell Shavkat Rachmanov that today is Key Lime Pie Day? Not sure if it'll work. Nico, ça va, Ariel? Oui, ça va. The Eddie Hearn interview got me thinking. From the UFC's point of view, what's more impactful? The new eyeballs Jake Paul brings or the awareness he is raising regarding fighter pay? From the UFC's point, what's more impactful? I guess the eyeballs. I mean, the fighter pay stuff is still in the bubble, and it's still in that little, MMA world that we reside in, but yeah, he's brought a lot of awareness. I would say as far as awareness goes, he's brought more awareness to boxing than MMA. So I think he's just more of an annoyance at this point to them. Newman. Hello, Ariel. Hello, Newman. I know July is still a long time away, but there's already been speculation about 3 major fights for the International Fight Week. McGregor Diaz 3. Feels like a long shot as of now. Usman Edwards, possible. Jones Stipe, possible. What do you think the chances are of these fights happening and taking place at 276? I mean, they all present their own challenges. McGregor Diaz 3, nothing at the moment. Usman Edwards, I mean, we just had the surgery. I know what they're saying is positive, but just had the surgery. And Jones Stipe is Jones Stipe. I mean, you saw Eugene's response to Jones. I hope we see John fight this year. I really do. And I don't care when. But, I mean, all of those would be great. We may end up with, Peña Nunes. Any word on what the main event for UFC Columbus will be? Also, do you know the location for the May pay-per-view yet? No to that. And like I said, I've heard of a rabbit, but it's too soon. We'll see. Still my boy. Hey, Ariel, continuing on with the theme of doppelgangers after last week with Hermanson, I have a good one for you. GC and Christian Eriksen. Uncanny. Let's see, Christian Eriksen. Let me see. He's the football player. I know that. But let's see him in front of me here. Wow. That is actually tremendous. GC, have you looked up Christian Eriksen? I mean,
yeah, I've been told this so many times. People hit me up on Twitter about it all the time.
This is actually, especially when he has the facial hair. Yeah, Eriksen was the one that collapsed in the Euro last year, right?
Yeah, I'm very glad he's okay. There were some pictures from that where I was like, oh my god, that literally looks like me. Wow. I may or may not have ordered his soccer jersey for this corner.
You have it?
It's an order has been placed.
Wow.
I don't want to ruin surprises, but
I love it. I mean, that is a good call. Well done. Is TJ led to believe he has the number 1 contender spot locked up and sitting out to fight the winner of Jan Sterling 2? No. But I can see it happening. But I don't think that's in writing. What are the chances we get to see Aldo Cruz if TJ passes on Aldo? Aldo Cruz. Yeah, I think it's possible. I would love to see it. I would love to see Aldo Cruz, TJ Aldo. Heck, TJ Cruz. Why not? By the way, Naresh says, GC and Erickson, you're absolutely spot on, sir. Killishaw then says, by the way, GC, as a close follower, even stalker of GC's Twitter, I can tell you he himself had called this out sometime back. You're right. How do you feel about Killishaw being a stalker of your Twitter page?
I'm all right with it. It doesn't sit well that we might see each other at Katie Taylor or Manus Toronto, but other than that.
It's amazing. I mean, the guy he never misses. Will Brewer, do you think we will see Israel Adesanya move up to light heavyweight this year? Not this year, but we just did hear from Eugene, and they want to do it. Also, I hear you are a solid basketball player. Dare I say, very solid. Have I played in a long time? No. I'd like to challenge the great Helwani to a friendly game of one-on-one horse. Yeah. Take a number, bro. Take a number. Everyone wants a piece. What are the figures? Dean Martin, good afternoon, Ariel. After interview with Casey O'Neill, you said that you were told Izzy does not want to do Zoom interviews. Yes, that's what I was told leading up to this fight. But I've seen him do Zoom interviews with TSN since you've said that. Just wanted your thoughts about this. Will we see Izzy in studio after the fight? Also, I love this segment and look forward to it every week so much so that I had to be a part of it. So I've seen a couple of people point this out. Here's what you have to understand. There's something in the business called broadcast partners. And when you are working for a broadcast partner, you are entitled and given certain luxuries, especially going into these big fights. I have benefited from this. So this isn't me coming off as, Mr. Sour Grapes or complaining or anything like that. But when you're working for the broadcast partner, the fighters, in this case, in our world of MMA, are told basically on the PR schedule, you have to do X amount of media. Per their contract, they have to do X amount of media going into these fights. And it benefits the likes of Izzy to do X amount of media because he is getting pay-per-view points. So he wants to do select media and X amount of media, especially the ones that they say you got to do because we are in business with these people. Now, again, I have benefited from this. When I worked for Fox, I benefited from it. When I worked for ESPN, I benefited from it. Even now, I benefited from it. I benefit from it. When I work for BT Sport, I'm doing the WWE stuff. I am very aware that, I get access to the wrestlers that the other wrestling media doesn't get access to. I'm just going to fix my nameplate here. It's bothering me. So I'm aware of that. I'm not complaining. What I said on Monday was what I was told, because obviously I wanted him on, was much love, but he wants to save it for post-fight, maybe in person, maybe. That's what I've been told. And isn't a fan of doing the Zoom when he doesn't have to, when it's not on the schedule. Now, to break the fourth wall, I'm never going to be on the schedule. I was told that when I was at ESPN. I was told that, and I love when like these moments get clipped off and it's like Ariel's complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm asking a question. I'm telling you, there's not a part of me that is complaining about this. But the UFC will never come like other promotions and be like, hey, do you want to talk to X, Y, and Z? In fact, when they would come to New York or when there was like a media tour type of thing and I would find out about it and I would talk to the fighters who I all have, we have great relationships. They were told it's okay to do it. It can't be on the schedule. You got to do this on your own. We're not going to help you book it. We're not going to go out of our way to help you. We're not going to put him on the schedule. You could do it, but it can't be in writing. Why? I don't know. I have my hypotheses, but they literally go out of their way to not help. So even on Wednesdays, like I'll reach out to people who are doing media days, especially pay-per-view. Hey, can you come on the show? Yeah, I got media on Wednesday. All right, that's kind of weird. I am media myself, but I get it. You've got all this other stuff that you have to do that is on the schedule. And of course, it would be easier if I could just get on the schedule. It would make my life easier since I'm booking these guests, but that's just the way it is. So to answer the question, yes, he is. I never said he's never doing interviews, but what I was told was, and I sort of fall into a different bucket. And again, I'll always take the post-fight over the pre-fight. Just let that be known. I'll much rather have Francis on the Monday after his big win than the Wednesday before his big fight. It's a much better interview. It's a much more captivating interview. I don't really get too worked up over the pre-fight. The Eugene stuff was great. Like, you know what I mean? It's just you're doing 1,000 interviews pre-fight. You're only going to do the ones you like post-fight, right? So I don't mind it. And honestly, if I had to choose between one or the other, I'll take the post-fight. I know I'm going a little longer here. But I wanted to explain this to you so you guys understand how all this works. When you're with the broadcast partner, when you're with ESPN, when you're with TSN, when you're with BT Sport, you're going to get these interviews because it's part of the deal. And a lot of fighters, especially the ones who are at Izzy's level, are just going to do the ones that they have to do for contractual reasons, for pay-per-view reasons. And the rest, they're just going to do the media day stuff and the scrums and the press conferences, and that's that. And that's totally fine. And these guys always do right by me, and they always come on when I ask them to come on. Izzy, first episode. Like, there's not a part of me that is sour about this, that is upset about this. And of course, I'm going on and on here, and you're probably thinking, here's Ariel. No, it's all good. It's all good. But just so you know, the reason why you'll see these guys pop up elsewhere and not on the Little Engine That Could over here, not on the Renegade show, not on the People's show, is because of that reason. We're not the broadcast partner. And by the way, I like it that way. I like being independent. I don't want to be beholden, because when you're part of the broadcast team, you can't ask certain things. You can't talk about certain things. There's certain requirements. There's certain dramas. There's certain politics. No thanks. Capiche? Lewis. Always love hearing from Lewis. My man. Afternoon, Lord Helwani. Afternoon, sir. Continuing my probe into the Helwani mind, you've shared how reflective you are of performances and shows, even critical of your own work. The continuing quest to be the best Helwani possible, yes. In these moments where you're reflecting, how impactful are the opinions of others, and can they influence your thoughts? They are impactful. Does viewer feedback or the thoughts of someone you respect change your viewpoint? Of course. And sometimes, honestly, I let it affect me too much. And that's the problem ultimately with social media, because you'll read this stuff, again, as I always say, on the phone where I talk to my mom or my wife or my kids, and you have someone say, like, you suck, that was bad, you screwed up, horrible question, whatever. So it messes with you. It does. And I wish it didn't. And I've come a long way in that regard. He adds, with so much of your work being broadcast live, are you able to take in live feedback? Yes. And I've talked to people about this as well, about not looking at Twitter. And I've actually done a much better job of that, of not reading things as they happen, to not get you off your game. I like the element of live. I love the fact that people are able to watch me right now, and there's no screwing up, and there's no going back, and there's no editing. I like that. I get excited about that. I feel like my performances are better when I know it's live and you can watch it in real time. But yeah, I do listen, but I'm probably tougher on myself than anyone else. Like, I'm mad at myself about messing up the Shavkat thing. Very mad at myself. And I'm like harping on it the entire time. And I will harp on it probably until Monday. Jake, Ariel, would you ever have Gary Tonin and John Danaher on? Yes, I've had both of them on in the past. Together, sure. I was excited for his title at 1X, but now I don't know when he's getting his shot. Did you go on your birthright trip to Israel while at Syracuse? If so, how was it? I did not go on that. For those that don't know what birthright is, every Jewish person is able to go for free to Israel at some point. It's part of your quote-unquote birthright. But you can only go if it's your first time, to the best of my knowledge. And I had been to Israel before, so I did not go on birthright because I had the luxury of going when I was younger with my parents. So that kind of excludes me from that, which I'm okay with. Last time I was there was 2008, and I'd love to go back. Zach, good morning, Ariel. I was curious if you had a chance to check out Eagle FC's first US event a few weeks ago. Yeah, we spoke about this already, no? I remember you were doing something with wrestling on the same night. The app was easy to download. There was not a single commercial all night, and there was very little time in between each fight, so it was nonstop action. I see them being very successful in the States. What does successful mean? My question is, how are they making money? No ads, no payment, no fans. Where's the money coming from? Where's the revenue coming from? How are they affording these fighters? This week's handicapped hot take for you: Whitaker KOs Izzy by the third round. Wow. All right. That sometimes you say hot take, it ain't a hot take. Solid hot take. Hugo. Hey Ariel, what's the situation with Max potentially being back? What's the situation with Max potentially being the backup fighter at UFC 273? Seems odd that Max can fight in April, but not in March. I mean, not necessarily. Sometimes all you do need is that extra month. And by the way, sometimes the thing with his hand was it was injured, and they needed time. And basically what they said to the UFC was like, we don't want to hold you back. If you want to go ahead and book something else, because I know you got, shows to fill, then go ahead. And so they did. But sometimes it could get better and you could be like, okay, now I'm ready to go. To suggest that Max Holloway is ducking Volkanovski, is ducking the threat of Volkanovski, to me, doesn't make a ton of sense considering the fact that most people thought he won the second fight. The first fight was close. Even if you don't think he won the second fight, it was close enough to think, all right, I've been there twice with the guy for 25 minutes each time, 50 minutes total. What are you really afraid? Like, come on. But yes, things can change, and let's see. Let's see truly, where he falls, and does he end up being the backup fighter? No, who knows? Matt, Ariel, show's been fantastic as of late. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bit of a long question here, long-winded question, but curious how you see the UFC handling welterweight going forward. At the top, you have the dichotomy of dominant but less marketable fighters. Usman, Edwards, highly marketable but less dominant fighters. Colby, Nate, Dustin. Dustin 55, but fair enough. In the prospect range, you have a similar situation with highly marketable Khamzat versus less marketable Brady and Rakhmonov. I don't know if Rakhmonov is less marketable. He's just a little bit newer. Furthermore, you have Bilal, who may be the least marketable fighter in the promotion, but is a hell of a fighter and is tough fight for anyone. I don't know if I agree with that as well. He's got a great personality, and I don't agree with that at all. Seems like he has a solid fan base. By the way, I hope he clips this off and somehow twists it into me hating on him, but I don't agree with that at all, that he's the least marketable fighter in the promotion. What the hell? How do you think the UFC attacks this division going forward? Match up the marketable versus... Nah. I think you're overthinking it, my man. Usman Edwards, if Khamzat wins, you got a potential massive star in your hands. Do you remember Khabib? I think they're fine. Hey, Ariel, I'm from Australia and I've been watching you for years. Thank you. Adelaide Crows are cap. Please support the Fremantle Dockers. We are the longest active team to not win the league and need your support. Well, Adelaide jumped on the bandwagon. What can I say? I don't see nothing from Fremantle. First question. Regarding minimum purse for fighters in the UFC, what do you think is fair? In the end, UFC is a business. So what is a hypothetical number that you think would be better for fighters? I mean, for me to throw out a number would be a little bit reckless. I'm not looking at their financials. I'm not looking. And honestly, considering what the rest of the MMA world is paying, 12 and 12 ain't the worst thing. I just wish it wasn't 12 and 12. Why can't we make it 24? Why can't we make it an even 22? 20, 25. You know what I mean? The main thing that for the early fighters I wish was abolished was the win and show. Because after you pay your coaches and after you pay your management, you're left with taxes, by the way, you're left with very little. So that's the main thing I wish they got rid of. Number one thing would be the win and show model. Just give them a guarantee. And by the way, I don't want the guarantee to be just 12. But if you're willing to pay that much to someone, I feel like you could do it for both. And by the way, at the very top, there is no win and show, as it should be. Second question. What are some of your thoughts? What are some of your favorite post-fight Octagon ringside interviews? Mine is I broke my back spinal when Tyson lost to Lewis. Oh my God, there's so many. Chaels were great. Connors had some great ones. Oh my. The very memorable one was Mike Tyson. The one about Lewis. Praise be to Allah. That one. There have been a lot. The boxing ones are fun because they're a little bit longer, but there's been so many great ones in the UFC. Chaels had some amazing ones. Connors had some amazing ones. Trying to think of others. GSP getting down on his knees, begging for the title shot. That was a great one. Nick, how do the fighters get paid their purse? Do they cut them a check right after the fight? Yes. It also, there was a time where it was a check. I would sometimes see them handing the check over. I think they do direct deposit, excuse me. I've not asked, but it usually happens relatively quick when it's the UFC, and I think it's direct deposit now, if I'm being honest. Grant, I've got a hypothetical question for you. Let's say Moreno won last month's fight against Figueiredo for his next title defense. The UFC chose to do in Mexico. If this happened, wouldn't it mean that Moreno would be making less money than if the fight was elsewhere because he'd still get a share of the pay-per-view? But if all of those Mexican fans are now in person rather than staying at home buying the pay-per-view like they would have done if the card was in their home country, wouldn't that lose? Yeah, I don't know if they have pay-per-view model in Mexico. And he isn't making the boatload of his pay-per-view in Mexico. He's making it in America. So it doesn't really matter. Jorge, hello, Ariel. First time writing from Puerto Rico, the country of the soon undisputed lightweight champion and pound-for-pound queen of boxing, Amanda Serrano, the Boricuas. I'm a big fan of the show, and I'm super pumped for 271. It's going to be my first live MMA event. I can't wait. I have 2 questions. What was the first event you attended as a fan, and what do you remember most about it? Wow, that's a great one. First UFC event that I attended as a fan that I did not work at was UFC 78 in Newark, New Jersey. This was back in a time when there were less shows and there was a lot of talk about what the main event would be. And the main event ended up being Rashad Evans versus Michael Bisping, which was a time when they very, very, very rarely had non-title fights in the main event. And I went with my old boss, Jay Peterson. It was 2007. I was working for a place called K2 Pictures in production. I had no friends that wanted to go to the event with me. And so I asked him if he'd go, and we met at his apartment on the west side, and we went to Newark, and I watched it. And it was November of 2007, and I just launched jerrypark.com, my own website, in October of 2007. So I was, obviously really into it now, and this was my career. And I remember Joe Lozon fought on the card, and I remember Houston Alexander fought on the card, and I remember sitting all the way up in the bleachers. That was a great, great moment. That was a great experience. The first event I ever attended, UFC, work or fan, was the Top 3 finale in June of 2000 and Top 3 finale, I think it was 2006. And I was working for that company, K2 Pictures, and one of their clients was Spike TV, and we produced a pre-show for the Top 3 finale that aired on spiketv.com that was hosted by Forrest and Stefan. Remember, they were the finalists on Tough One. And I helped produce it, and I helped write it as well. And that was the one that Bisping won, Tough 3. He fought Josh Haynes. Also, Kendall Grove was there, if you recall. I think Sam Stout, too. So, yeah, that was the first one. It was at the Hard Rock in Vegas, and that was the first event that I ever went to. And I'll never forget, there was also a fight night, September of 2007. I was working for Spike, and that was the one that kind of led to me leaving Spike. I joined Spike that Monday. On the Wednesday, we flew to Las Vegas because Dean Thomas versus Kenny Florian was happening in Vegas. And I remember we did absolutely nothing. And I remember having a conversation with one of the guys, like my superior at Spike. I was like, what do we do here when we're at their events? Oh, we just kind of make sure everything's okay. I was like, I can't do that. I can't just be here and not do anything. And I remember sitting in the truck for the entire event. And it was interesting to see how it goes with the commercial breaks and everything that's going on. And Eddie Bravo was next to me working. Was it Eddie Bravo or was it Mark Delagrati? It might have been Mark Delagrati now that I think of it. But he was telling the announcers, Joe and Mike Goldberg, like to look out for certain things. I think it was Delagrati now that I think of it. Oh, that's called this, that, just kind of working as a producer. And I didn't even know that was a real job. And I was sitting there, and then I remember at the end thinking, I can't do this. I like to, and then that's when I came back the following week, and I quit Spike, and they made me sit out, and I decided that I was going to start doing MMA journalism, and start my own website. What do you rate this UFC 271 card? I picked a pretty good one. Yeah, I like it. It's good. Top to bottom. Oh my God. Benjamin Big Spitta. I mean, this is like a 5-paragraph question. So I see the first line. First of all, the stat that Derek Lewis is undefeated in February is about as useful as limbless MMA fighter. No, it's, by the way, I'm not using that as a stat to determine whether or not he's going to win, but it's just like an interesting factoid. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. So calm the F down. I can't read all this. I get to the question. New York or Connecticut pizza. I hear Connecticut pizza is tremendous. New Haven pizza, I've never actually had it. Perhaps GC, who lived in Connecticut, can let us know. What's better, New York or Connecticut pizza?
I actually have Connecticut, New Haven.
Yeah?
Sal's, Frank Pepe's, and Modern. Those are the three. Those are like the top three. They're all fantastic.
Really? There's one in New Haven that everyone talks about, no?
It's those three, Sal's, Pepe's, and Modern. I made multiple trips to New Haven to get it.
And better than New York?
Yes. Yeah,
You've
like
been
this
to
is
like John's. You've been to
John's on Bleecker. I got the Farrah's right near my crib in Brooklyn, which is very highly rated.
But you say Connecticut. All right, there you have
I got New Haven, yeah. New Haven, not Connecticut.
Security's
in
coming
all.
to remove you from the building.
Well, yeah, it is crazy. Wait, so you're saying it's just New Haven? It's not Connecticut. It's New Haven versus New York.
Right. It's New Haven versus.
What is it about New Haven?
You just got to go, man. I
Like,
really
how did
did
that
take like
become
5
the
or
pizza
6.
capital of the Northeast?
I have no clue. I'm telling you though, these 3 spots are amazing.
What's number one? Rank them.
In my opinion, Modern is number 1. Sal's is number 2, or Sally's is number 2. Sally's, I'm sorry, and then Frank Pepe's. But Frank Pepe's has this thing called the Summer Special, which is just top notch, best pizza I've ever had.
What is it?
It's like fresh mozzarella, fresh tomatoes, like fresh. It's just everything's fresh, and they only serve it from like June to August. It's fantastic.
Wow, I need to make the pilgrimage. Have you been, Frank?
No, and I never would.
Why?
Because it's, you got enough pizza here in New York.
Yeah, let's be honest. Also, this guy who wrote the very long question, and people are giving him crap for it. Thank you. Thank you for all you do, Ariel. Thank you. You're the man. Also, shout out to Frank, GC, New York, Rick, and the whole crew just because. All right, that's very nice. Killishaw summarized the whole question by New York or Connecticut pizza. Thank you, guys. Hi, Ariel. Besides DC and Chael, who are some fighters you talk to daily / often that we might not know about? Shout out to my roommate, Jason. I talk to Weidman a lot. I talk to Anthony Smith a lot. I mean, I actually talk to the managers probably more than the fighters. Yeah, probably those ones. I mean, the ones that you would think are there. I talk to Faber a lot. I would talk to Derek Lewis more, but he changes his number every week for some reason, so I can't really get it. I mean, now he's back to green, believe it or not. Okay. Pay the fighters. This one might be difficult. I like that. Question about your former employer. Okay. As you know, Whoopi Goldberg has been in the news for her comments for which she was handed a 2-week suspension by ABC, while Gina Carano was fired and publicly ridiculed for a comment that was warped by the media. All Gina was saying is that the horrible societal systems emerge after the citizens are turned against each other. Okay, which is 100% true. You break apart the community and then someone in power can take advantage. She never said the degree of each circumstance was equal. She simply provided a historical evidence that all understand to deliver a point. How does this make you feel as a Jewish person? Does it seem like ABC/Disney is inconsistent in their punishment? Do they actually care about the issue, or is it just some political motive? I don't know about any of that. All I'll say is, going back to the Gina thing, which some people like to twist, including her and her team, I never once said that I thought she should be fired. I never once said that she should be canceled. I never once said that, I want her punished. I said, and why I actually wasn't even going to talk about it, but I kept getting asked about it because it's Gina, someone that you all know I hold in high regard, and because it's an MMA story, and because it's, a story that is related to Jewish people, and I'm very proud of my Jewish faith and heritage. And so I try to explain why even making that inference, even making that connection, and even if it is this intention that you're pointing out, is absolutely asinine. And I still believe that to this day. It is not about turning people against each other. It's the people who are bringing up the Yellow Star. It's the people who are bringing up concentration camps. It's the people who are bringing up segregation. It's the people who are bringing up, people actually dying. Like, there is no connection. I just want you all to know. There is absolutely no connection from the Holocaust to the pandemic of 2020 and 2021 and 2022. Anyone who even tries to make that connection in any way, shape, or form is 1,000% wrong. And it does strike a nerve. It does, because 6 million Jews died during World War II. Were sent to concentration camps. Were sent to gas chambers. Were burned alive. were gassed to death, were shot, were murdered, were kidnapped. That ain't happening. Okay? I don't care how many vaccine cards are shown you. That ain't happening. So the reason that struck a nerve and the reason we felt a certain way about it and the reason why we think it's crazy when anyone tries to make this connection is because there is no connection. And so you bring up this. I don't know. I'm not making those decisions. The only thing I'll say is I don't think Whoopi wasn't, what I saw from the one clip that I saw, she wasn't comparing the pandemic to the Holocaust. She was talking about like what the Holocaust was all about and the connection, all that stuff is fine. And I don't think anyone should, like, I'm happy she's not canceled and I'm happy she's not fired. I don't believe in that. I don't believe you make one mistake, you post something, you say something, and your whole career is over. I don't believe in that. Now, you could say, like, Gina kept going and she kept going and she doubled down and she kept going and maybe that was, I don't know. And in fact, I got in trouble for that, believe it or not. I got in trouble for that whole thing. People don't know this. Like, I got called. You shouldn't have talked about that. I mean, what do you mean I shouldn't have talked about that? If there was ever a story that was in my wheelhouse, it was that story. It was an MMA story about Jews. If there's ever a story that I should talk about that's outside of the world of fights, which I'm not a robot, that's not all I care about, it was that story. But I got in trouble for it. And then, of course, we remember what Dana said, and no one had my back, and then it became this whole thing, yada, 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 silliness. But again, you go back to what I said. You go back to how I said it. I never said she should be punished. I never said she should be canceled. I was just explaining why we felt a certain way about it, why I think it was a mistake, why I think it was tone deaf. And you can't hide behind it was just a meme. No, you went out and you shared it. And you perpetuated this thought that there is any kind of connection whatsoever between what happened in World War II and what's happening today in society or what happened in society. There ain't no connection. I'm sorry. I know you all want this to be your raison d'être. I know you all want this to be your Vietnam where you're standing up for something. You ain't being sent to a concentration camp and being burnt alive. And what I try to explain to people, because I went there myself and I saw it and I educated myself, I felt the scratch marks in the gas chambers. I literally felt them with my hands. I was in Auschwitz. I saw the ashes. I saw the hair. I saw the suitcases. I saw the glasses. Anyone who makes that connection is just wrong. And I could call you a bunch of different names, but I'm not. You're wrong. You are wrong. There is no connection. Zero. None. Don't share the meme. Don't go down that path. Don't do it because you are wrong. And unfortunately, there's repercussions. Now, do I agree with the repercussions? No, I don't believe in cancel culture. I don't believe in whatever you want to call it. I don't. And I'm not going to sit here and defend ABC or Disney. I'm not the one making those decisions. But if you want my take, I don't think that there should be, firings over things like that. Now, you say things that are offensive, you say things that are insulting, that are truly, wrong, then yeah, sure. But you do silly stuff like that, like, no. Why don't we? I thought Julian Edelman did it the best way. The New England Patriots player. He's like, let's go educate. Let's go teach people who didn't grow up learning about this stuff why there is no connection here, why this is wrong. That was the best way. Let's not shun the people that make these mistakes. Let's teach them. Let's explain to them. I think he said that about Deshaun Jackson. So that's that. Hey, Ariel, any chance you will interview Rex Chapman on your Thursday show? Sure, I would love to. I mean, it's crazy to me that Rex Chapman has become who he has become on social media. I remember him on the Hornets, Kentucky, Suns. Yeah, sure, that would be great. Favorite segment, great one tomorrow, by the way. Favorite segment of the week. Thank you. 2 quick questions. Why no Izzy or Derek Lewis this week? Derek Lewis likes to lock in and change his number. And Izzy, I've already explained. But again, I do like the post-fight rather than the pre-fight. Which is, by the way, if you notice, like when a fight gets announced, let's say it's an Ian Gary fight, right? I'd rather get them on when the fight gets announced rather than the week of the fight. There's less pressure. You get to check in. It sets the tone for the camp and all that stuff, at least from our perspective. And so that's why I don't try to bother a lot of these guys the week of the fight. And so then you get them post-fight, you haven't just talked to them 3 days ago. Do you know what I'm saying? That's always been the method. Fight gets in, like, that's why I had Whitaker on, not when it was announced, but like, I'd rather have Whitaker on a month ago than this week. Because they're being flooded with requests and questions, and I don't want to add to that. Do you think you'll attend the UFC in person this year and unleash Helwani on a media day? or one of these so-called press conferences? Doubtful? I will explain, and I've been tempted to do so, but I don't really want to now. It's not the time. I will explain why. There are multiple reasons why. The main one being my work, number one. The second one being just there is really no need. There's literally no need. You know what I do throughout the week. There is no need for me to be there at the moment. But I will explain the root of why I don't push to go, or I don't feel like I need to go, or, anything like that. One of these days I'll explain it, but today's not that day. Dallas. Hello, Ariel. Moving forward, can we have a reaction cam of GC during live events? Wow, second time someone asked about this. I feel like Dallas asked this question last week. Did he not? GC, are you going to have... people want to see you reacting to the events.
If we were to do that, I would need more than just me.
Why?
I don't know. An MMA fighting crew, everyone betting on it, riding the bets together, living and dying by the bets on camera. That's how I'd want to do it.
Okay. All right. I would like to see you during the events. I kind of feel like, have you seen Alphonso Davies? You know Alphonso Davies, the soccer player for
Canadian
Canada?
Soccer player, yeah.
He's been doing these Twitch streams during Canada's, and they're incredible. I mean, they're very entertaining.
I mean, there's definitely emotion with it. I'm not just sitting there, I'll say that.
Yeah, I would love it. Let's work on that. Hey, Ariel, do you think Dana loves Amanda because she beat Cyborg? I think he loved her before that. He seems to have favored her since her win over Cyborg. Secondly, do you think Tate doing a Big Brother is a mistake as she's making her first cut to 125? I mean, how long does anyone watch Big Brother over there? How long does that take? I don't know. I have no idea. And can't you get voted off? Seems like a good opportunity. Kareem. Hi, Ariel. I was looking at the upcoming pay-per-view cards, and when you compare them to last year's, they are very weak in terms of name value. Last year, we had people like Cruz, Ty, Benavidez, Marlon. I mean, come on. It's February. Chill. Last year's February card it was Usman Burns, and I don't remember there was a ton of, chill. Come on, guys. I don't think that's fair. Jezza, yo, Ariel. Jezzy Q here from London, respect, or England. Love the show. Haven't missed one, but a first time posting a question. Thank you. Any news on when 10-7 Danis will be back in the cage? No one cares. Does Khamzat fight for the belt this year? Very possible, yes. I think there's a strong possibility of that. Peace out. Keep up the great work. Shout out to GC. Hey, Ariel. This is from Lord Pilbian. Big fan, longtime listener, brand new subscriber. Hope all is well. Respect. I was looking at next week's main event, and I think it's flying under the radar. Should Rafael Fiziev win against RDA, who do you see him fighting next? I'll tell you this much. The February main events are tremendous. Izzy Whitaker 2, Fiziev, RDA. Wait, last week, okay, it was Strickland Hermanson, didn't turn out to be great, but I was interested in it. Then Izzy Whitaker, Fiziev, RDA. And then Dariush Makhachev. Great. If Fiziev wins, he's in that, golly. So the latest I heard is Chandler Ferguson, potentially May 7th. Does he fight the winner of that? He's in there. He is in there. RDA is a top 7-8 fighter, so does he fight the winner of that? That would be nuts. Brett, Hera, quick question about fighter purses. If a fighter wins a fight but later fails a post-fight drug test, does their win money get confiscated? I don't think so. Does it depend on the severity? I don't think it gets confiscated. I think if it's there, they don't have to pay it back. But it does raise a good point, and it's something Mark Hunt said. Why are they tested before the fight, but the results come out after? Seems to defeat the purpose. Hey, Ariel, if someone was to gift you one NFT of any moment, what would you pick? Also, I think Bam Bam needs to be immortalized after name-dropping Helwani on RCDC or DCRC. Really? He did that? I didn't know that. Did you? I know you watch DCRC GC. Did he do that?
I must have missed that episode. I'm still getting caught up. I got them all saved on my ESPN Plus.
All right. One NFT. I'll probably go with that one. I'll probably go with GSP Matt Hughes, UFC 56. the night he became champ. I'll probably go with that one. Any news on Hamzat Burns? Not yet, but I mean, they keep going back and forth. Ariel, April. If you were in charge of rule changes, what rule changes would you implement? Punching to the back of the head? No. Knee and kicking? Meh. Headbutts? No. I mean, the main one is like, if you're going to penalize someone for cheating or for breaking a rule, like penalize them. Enough with the warnings. Penalize them. Figure out what that penalty is, but like the warning should be in the locker room, in my opinion. Ariel, which MMA fighter do you secretly wish would talk more trash on the mic? I don't really secretly wish any of them. I wish more people knew how entertaining Arnold Allen was. And I get you can't just be fun in interviews. You have to win the fights in fun ways. But like, man, that guy, first of all, he's just such a lovable character. He's a pro athlete, in my opinion. You shouldn't be showering at truck stops. I get it. I'm not trying to put that down, but like, how does that gym not have any workable showers for these pro athletes? A. B, the fact that he's driving 3 hours one way 3 times a day, 6 hours total each day. The fight game, man. It is a crazy, crazy thing. Matthew, 2 questions. Have you ever thought of interviewing Ben Shapiro? I haven't really thought of it per se. I mean, he's an interesting guy. I'm not a huge fan of political media. I'm not a fan of it at all. So I don't consume his content. So, not really my thing. What are your thoughts on MLB doing away with steroid testing? I think it's just for now. Can I just say this about MLB? I mean, have you ever seen a dumber sports league than Major League Baseball? We're still in the freaking pandemic. You've got some young, good stars. There's some good story. You've paused Hot Stove. Your season is going to be delayed, or at least is being threatened to be delayed. Like, what the F are you guys doing? You've already messed it up enough times over the years. Of course, 94, you killed my team and you killed my city. And the love that the city had for the team, Montreal, #1 team in baseball at the time, first place, NL East. We all know the story, 6 games up on the Braves. What the F are you guys doing? How are you not locking yourself in a freaking boardroom, in a hotel, and figuring this out? No one wants to hear about your back and forth, your crappy offers. No one wants to hear about these annoying little like concessions. Like, enough. Figure it out and be done with it. No one wants to hear about this. There's enough going on. You're just going to get passed by again. Look, if there's one sport right now and one sports league that can't afford this, it's probably MLB. Number 2 would be NHL. And NHL is doing just fine, especially in Canada, and they've got the new deal with ESPN and TNT. What the F is MLB doing? Like, Manfred, what are you doing? Tony Clark, what are you doing? I mean, it's just so frustrating. It's like, do they not want us to be fans? And you're going to pick this time in our lives now? Now, when people have lost their jobs, when people are just trying to get back on their feet, now's the time that you're going to do this? You guys, I mean, it's so disappointing. They suck so bad. They suck. Danny, hola Ariel, no question today. Simply wanted to thank you for sharing the story about your anxiety struggles during the trip to Milwaukee. Thank you. I appreciate it. Really shed a light on the fact we should be checking in on our inner circle, even if they look okay on the exterior. Amen. You've been through so much adversity and continue to show resilience, and here we are benefiting from independent Helwani, who is better than ever. Keep doing you, Ariel. Keep being you. Much love from Charlotte. Wow, that was very nice. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate that. Taylor, hello. I've only been to the Toronto area in Canada, but I have a geography question for you. It is a bit complex, but I've always wanted to do the Trans-Canadian train journey and would love to hear a solid answer. Do citizens in Canada categorize themselves regionally as people in the United States do? For instance, people from places like California, Texas, and Midwest, the South, NYC, generally pride themselves on certain things. Do people in Canada do this as well? Yeah. I mean, certainly Quebecers do. But I think there is a bit of that. You know, you got the BC types, you got the Prairie types, you got the Maritimes types, you got the Ontario types. Toronto thinks they're, King SHIT. P.S. Banff looks like one of the most beautiful spots on the planet. I agree. I've never been, but it looks incredible. Jasper as well. I've actually not been to enough places in Canada. I've been to BC a couple times. I've been to Winnipeg. I've been to Edmonton. I've been to Calgary. I loved Calgary. I loved Vancouver. Been to Whistler, Olympics. Been to Ontario, been to Ottawa, been to Toronto, been to Montreal, been to Quebec City. Never been to the Maritimes. I'd like to do more in Canada. Killishaw. Hi, Ariel. Cold weather as usual at the Big Apple. I love it. He's now local and he's complaining about the cold. Was wondering if you're as curious and anticipatory about Izzy's entrance like me. I mean, I guess I'll just kind of digest it when I see it. Do you know if it'll be more of a Rock Lee kind of entrance? I have no idea. By the way, will you be at Elimination Chamber? I will not. That's the one in Saudi Arabia. I don't think I'm going to that. But I will be at WrestleMania. Happy Read in the Bathtub Day. Looking forward to sharing a seat with GC at MSG. Are you and Killishaw sitting next to each other, GC?
That has not been confirmed.
Okay.
EK, he's on the other side of the section as me.
Okay. It's a whole thing. B-Dodd. With the women's 135 division doing tough, how long into this year do you think it will be before any of the other women defend their titles this year? Well, I suspect Juliana fights this summer. And yeah, the one I need to check up on is Rose and Carla. I know Rose had COVID, but she should be okay now. And then there's obviously Valentina. Is it Tyla Santos? So yeah, I mean, maybe he's got 2 titles. Maybe the June card. Hello, Lord Ariel. My question this week with the NBA trade deadline quickly approaching, is there a trade you do? Oh, about the Knicks. Golly, the Knicks are so depressing. I really thought last year, I thought last year was the beginning of a great run. I thought last year everything was going to change and there would be no more disappointing seasons for at least the foreseeable future for, 3, 4, 5 years. No more draft lotteries. And I mean, it's just so depressing. I don't know. Lillard, what is going on? What is going on with Julius Randle? I mean, he's playing well lately, but like, what is wrong with this team? I know what's wrong. Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose was the reason why they went on the run last year, and Derrick Rose, I think, is the reason why they're not playing well this year because he's injured. Some crazy trades yesterday. Can't believe the Kings got rid of Halliburton. I like Sabonis a lot, but Halliburton's, second year in the league. The guy's, I don't know. I would think the kind of guy that you want to build around. They picked De'Aaron Fox. And then, CJ McCollum going to New Orleans. So maybe we get Lillard. How about we do Damian Lillard for Evan Fournier? How about that? Alec Tomlinson, top of the morning, Ariel. Sorry to keep asking, but need info on the March 26th. Rabbit out of the hat. Stay tuned. Hey, Ariel, it's VJ from Kamloops. Respect. You haven't spoken with Izzy. Are we saving him for the Monday after the fight? I mean, he has to win. Could be Wednesday. Also, any word on Arjun Buller? I think there is a resolution coming there. Stay tuned. But yes, it would be nice to see him defend that heavyweight title. Any locations for 275? I don't even know what 275 is. UFC 275, but I don't really know anything past April. Wait, 275? What is 275? That's later in the year, but I don't know. David M is asking me about the 272 co-main. Nothing, my man. Logan, hey Ariel, hope your wife is doing better. Unfortunately, my wife is having surgery on Friday. It's a bit of a stressful time, but it got worse. I'm very thankful. Actually, I wanted to tell Quinta. I should have told Wyman about this too. HSS, the Hospital of Special Surgery, is it's a crazy story how we ended up there, but yeah, the cut is like this huge ball now, and it's a bummer. Crazy, just from a plate. I mean, you would guess that the plate would do something like that, but it was just putting a plate away. So I appreciate that, but hopefully come Friday, we will turn the corner and better days are ahead. We all know that most UFC talent isn't great at basketball. Could you give us the worst possible starting 5? I mean, golly. I mean, Jones is definitely in that mix. I haven't seen all of them play, so hard to say. But Jones is in that mix. Bakri, salut de Montréal. First off, I'd like to thank you for the great WWE coverage. Thank you. Back when we were kids, me, my brother, and my neighbor used to pretend we were wrestlers. My favorite was Kofi Kingston. There was always a small snow mountain that when you were kids, you used to pretend you were Kofi Kingston? You must not be that old. I thought you were going to say like Coco Beware. There was always a small snow mountain that would pile up around the stop sign, and we'd basically act like we were in a Money in the Bank match. That's great. The goal was to get to the stop sign. Having WWE guests on the show has brought back so many amazing memories, so thank you for that. Oh, I appreciate it. Here's my question. What are your thoughts on Anthony Pettis starting both a new promotion and a management company? I love it. You've been critical of Eagle FC in the past. Do those same concerns apply to Showtime? No, because I see what you're saying. I see. Okay, that's fair. That is a very, very fair assessment. Now, I will say this. Anthony said the majority of the fighters on Showtime promotions aren't fighters that he has signed. And also, he is not, I mean, like, who signed to Showtime Management? But it is fair. In the world of boxing, you can't be a promoter and a manager. You can't. And yeah, so I think that the same should apply in the world of MMA. I like the fact that Anthony's a fighter and is trying to guide fighters and steer them in a certain way, but no, it is the criticism has to be fair. And so, yeah, it's a great point. Francis versus every current champion. He fights them one by one with a 15-minute break in between. You're crazy. Amy, ever watch horror movies? No. I feel like Frank's a big horror movie guy. Frank?
I mean, it's not that I don't like that. No, I guess
feel
I'm
like you're a big
fan. Yeah.
There's a really good Jewish one out there called The Vigil. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't heard of that.
Check it out if you're brave and have time. I'm not. And I don't. Or you could stick to Rudy, where it's safe. I kid. I will. Big ups to Frank. Oh, look at this. Big ups to Frank for his statement that silly questions are going to be the end of humanity on Earth. His deadpan responses to you are a growing highlight of the show. Keep it up, Frank Mysterio. Frank Mysterio is a great name. How about that? You got a fan in Amy Otis.
That's pretty awesome.
What's up, Nose Ken Seiko? This is from Askren, and you shall receive. If you knew Usman would not be holding the strap at the end of the 2022 due to defeat, not an injury, who would you say is the best chance? I'd say probably Khamzat. Iman O'Keefe. Ariel, you don't make picks pre-fight because fighters tend to get mad at you. Correct. Who are some of the fighters who took picking against you them most personally? One comes to mind. I think it might have been Rashad, if I'm being honest. Rashad and I have a great relationship now. I don't remember all of them, but I would just continuously hear crap about it. I'm like, you know what? This is not worth it. Have you any inside info on Connor's leg? Not at the moment. Hey, Ariel, are the fight night events in April planned for the Apex or a smaller city such as Columbus? No, I still think that some of them, I mean, I know the May ones are Apex, some of them. Also, who would headline 274, Oliveira or Teixeira? I've been asked that question. Great question. I think it would be Oliveira and Gaethje because I just think it's the bigger fight. Benoit, hey, my friend Ariel from Quebec City. Salut. I just want to know what you think the Knicks should do before the trade deadline. I mean, I don't want to see them blow it up. I can't believe RJ Barrett got injured with like 13 seconds left in that blowout yesterday. What are we doing? I love Tibbs, but it hasn't been a great year for him. I don't know. The Fournier contract ain't good. Do they get rid of Kemba? Is there any value? I don't know. Halliburton would have been great. We need that point guard. Bring back Elfrid Payton. I rewatched the Eddie Hearn interview. What a great interview. Thank you. Okay, a couple more. Carter, this is my first time sending a question here. I love the show, but let me get straight to it. Thank you. Do you have any info on 275? Come on. Guys, can we read the other questions? If you're going to ask like 3 hours later, can we at least just check? Just do a quick search. Now asking me about 274 location. No, I don't have one. Hey, Ariel, Jake from the Windy City here. When the dust settles, what fight will we end up seeing on the last of Nate Diaz's contract? What did I say? What did I say about the contract stuff? I wouldn't be surprised if they all re-sign. First one, Izzy. What did I say? What are your thoughts on the latest breaking news story that Habs fired Ducharme? They did? Wow. Half a year after making the Stanley Cup? That's crazy. I mean, new regime now, so it doesn't surprise me. But yes, what a mess. They just made it to the final last summer, and now they're the worst team in the league. Also, I've been keeping in mind what you said about Ronda Rousey just phoning it in with WWE and playing wrestler. I thought her promos last week on SmackDown were really poor. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it's unwatchable to me. She looked uncoordinated, sloppy, uncomfortable. feels like she's just doing it for the paycheck, if I'm being honest. And hey, much respect, but come on. And like the match to make was her versus Becky, not her versus Charlotte. So I don't get it. Is there any buzz on a fight lining up for Valentina soon? Nothing at the moment, but I would suspect it would be Tyler Santos. Last week you had the audacity to name your top jellies and not mention grape. Never was a grape guy. The goat of jelly. No, I never was a grape guy. I'm sorry. Hi, Ariel. I like it, but it's not my top. Strawberry number one. Samir from Brisbane. Brisbane? When Mike Goldberg was let go from UFC, Dana said he was getting someone really big to replace him. Do you know who that was? I think he was talking to Jim Rome? That's an old school question, but no. I think it might have been Jim Rome that he was talking about. I think he made the right call not going with Jim Rome. And Jim Rome's amazing. I love him. He's a legend, but he's not a play-by-play guy. Anik is the guy. Arash, I feel so disappointed about the UK tickets were sold. Hope they come back to London again. Yeah, what's up with that? I hear a lot from the fans that they they got like boxed out and that they went to the scalpers. That sucks. That really does suck. I'm sorry. Robbie, did you drink water today? Not enough. My voice is it's very hoarse and dry. Thank you for reminding me. Shalom, not a regular question, but can you cut the extra string on the top of your laptop sticker? What? Not a regular question, but can you cut the extra string on the top of your laptop sticker? I always find myself just staring at it during your shows. Wow. That's an issue right there.
It's been kind of a...
It's been a thing?
Yeah, for all of us.
Really?
Yeah.
Shout out
maybe
to
you liked it that way.
Shout out to Bill Steinmetz, who gave me this, who's a member of the LVPD or the LVMPD. I don't know. I mean, if you guys really were bothered by it, now it's even worse, huh? I messed it up. I'm sorry, Trey. I'll work on that. Ribeye or New York strip? Let the people know. I think New York strip. Filet mignon. Is that an option? I feel like Frank's a big steak guy. Actually, I feel like you're a vegan.
Do you know what you feel? Filet mignon all the way.
Wait, so is filet mignon, does it fall in the category of ribeye or New York strip, or is that a third option?
It's a third option.
Oh, all right. Well, filet mignon. I don't like it when there's the bone. GC, what do you like?
New York strip, I guess. I don't know. I don't eat enough steaks.
All right. Any thoughts on Brunson news that he plans on retiring? Yes, he said earlier today 2 fights. Let's see. What if he wins the belt? But yeah, I mean, he's been around. Brunson, like the last one of the Strikeforce fighters that's still around. How crazy is that? God bless him. But I don't put too much stock into that. 2 more? Like, what if he wins this fight, knocks the guy out, knocks out Izzy? So much could happen. Then he's really making money. ¿Qué onda, Ariel? I need to know, why do the officials go crazy when the fighters sit on top of the cage? I think it's just, it's a rule. I mean, they don't want the injuries, right? What's the point? Amy, serious note, thank you and your team for the way you are creating a legacy of incredible interviews for the archives so that these fighters and their unique personalities, and yours too, are preserved for the future. Wow, thank you. You truly are an artist, using your unique voice to bring out the voices of extraordinary people. Wow. Is this my mom? It's amazing. You didn't have to do it this way, and I think it was probably very hard sometimes to stand up to various authorities, but your work will be cherished years after you and I are no longer around. I appreciate that. I will say this. I did an interview yesterday, and this is my Helwani Show interview for the week with Steve-O of Jackass. What a guy. What an incredible guy. And he said something about why he likes to document his life so much with the video blogs and whatnot. And he says that like he knows that these are going to outlive him. And that got me thinking about like the arc, like thank God for YouTube that there's so much there from the beginning of my career. Not all of it is there, but a large portion of it is there. And I started thinking about that. I was like, that's pretty cool. You know, it's pretty wild that hopefully YouTube is still around and my grandkids and my grandkids' kids will hopefully be able to look up some of the stuff that I did back in 2009 and 2010, 2011. So I never really looked at it that way. But when he was talking about why he likes to record so much and put up so much in his YouTube channel, is killing it. He has 6 million subs, 6 million plus subs. I started thinking of that a little bit. I was like, wow, I don't have anything near what he has, but It was a pretty cool way of looking at it, I must admit. Nim, hey Ariel, we've all grown fondness for the Helwaniisms you've developed over the years as a media personality. Definitely a full send. Thank you. I appreciate that. So given you don't like to give yourself the old Barry Horowitz, shout out to Barry. This is a question for the back if they haven't left already. I think they're still sticking around for a few more minutes. GC, Mr. Monday Afternoon, Mysterious Frank, and CA. What is your favorite Helwaniism? I don't even feel comfortable with this. I've IG DM'd my favorite one, didn't want to tweet it irresponsibly. Number 1, I would be remiss. Number 2, apropos. 3, the MMA Hour is back in your life. Enter date. Giving yourself the old Barry Horowitz. Come on. People's Main Event, Jabron, Getting Dicey, Thug Nose, Helwani, El Nariz, Break the Fourth Wall, What a Mensch, This Gives Me Nachas. I mean, that is a collection. I didn't realize I had such a repertoire, Nim, but now that you put it this way, Frank, your favorite?
Helwani's.
That wasn't one of the options. GC, your favorite?
Wow. I think you really caught Frank off guard there. I mean, that man listed every one of them. I'd probably say, "Come on." Come on is I can't even try to.
Oh my God.
Come on, man.
Great job, Frank. Helwani in the house is from Mari. If you're reading this, my boyfriend is 10 out of 10 watching you in the living room, and I'm over listening in the office. Wow. Hi, guys. As we do every show, his birthday is on Valentine's Day, so happy early birthday, Santana XOXO. Respect. My question, we were blessed enough to see UFC 269 in person. Although I was grateful to experience such a legendary card live, I feel like I missed the dang fights. I wanted to get your thoughts and wondered what you enjoyed more. I will say this. There are certain sporting events that I think are better at home as opposed to in person, certain better in person at home. NHL, better in person than at home. NFL, better at home than in person. NBA, kind of a wash. MLB, the experience is better, but if you want to truly follow the game, I think it's better at home. MMA, I would suggest anyone goes to a live UFC event at least once to experience it. But I would wholeheartedly argue that the experience, if you want to watch and follow along, is better at home. Same with pro wrestling, by the way. It's a great atmosphere. It's a great time. It's a great experience. But without the commentary and the little things that you might miss, it's tough. So I would actually say if you really want to follow along and not miss anything, it's better at home. You end up watching the screen more. Hey, Ariel, I'm currently studying sports journalism. I can easily say you're the journalist I look up to more than anyone. Thank you. How do you balance being nice and caring to the interviewees without being a fan? I mean, it's just a job, you know. I'd look like a jabron if I was acting like a fan, and I don't want that. But I wish you luck. Can we get David Helwani on the Ariel Helwani show? That's my brother. And if you were a fighter, what weight division would you fight in? People are surprised by this, but I weigh 2 bills for the record. 6 feet, 2 bills. Probably have to cut some weight. I would think 185. I can't get to 170. My whole life I was 188. But now I'm working out more, doing push-ups and stuff. Not much else. I was boxing. I really want to get back to that. As for my brother, that would be a very awkward interview, and I don't think anyone wants to see that. But go check out 20, his company. He's killing it. Mustard Face, Ariel Mon Amour. Derek Brunson just said in an interview he'll retire. Seems like a horrible mistake. Yeah. Lajwan, good afternoon. Will we be getting another IG Live Panini pack opening soon? Stay tuned. I appreciate it. And shout out to MMA Lock of the Night, Manpreet Jas. I agree, he does great work. Hi, Ariel, with what seems like more attention on fighter pay. He's asking, El Hotrod is asking, like, which organization is going to step up and give fighter better deals? I don't really see that changing. But, you know, there is the PFL that is offering you $1 million if you win the tournament. So, thoughts on Izzy's new contract being the second highest paid active fighter on the roster? I mean, Paradigm would know because Conor is their client, but do we look, it's funny because I was asking, like, what are the terms? And I was told, no, we're not telling you. MMA is the only sport where you don't truly know, at least on the highest level, what they're making. And I get it. You want to keep that quiet, but like, we literally know to the cent what KD makes, what Stephen Curry makes, what, Tom Brady makes, what Connor McDavid makes, what Blake Snell makes. But this sport is different. So they'll say it, and Connor is number one, but how do they know, like, I don't know, Usman's not making the same as, I don't know. I mean, Paradigm's clued in, so I'll believe them because they have some of the top guys, but it's hard to truly know. I'm happy for Izzy. I'm happy that he got the deal. I would have been curious to see what would have happened if he would have tested the market, but alas. Interesting that he signed before this fight and not after. If you weren't an MMA journalist or sports journalist, what would you be doing? Probably working in TV production. Can you name your 5 greatest women's MMA fighters of all time? I mean, Cyborg, Nunes, Shevchenko. Megumi Fuji, Rose. Does your heritage faith impact the way you cover the sport? No. El Cubano back again. Couldn't possibly let you end. Okay, I'll finish with that one because I see what you're asking. Do you think the UFC does a good job with fighter backup plans for last minute pullouts? Yeah, good enough. And yeah, so the last one is El Cubano back again. Couldn't possibly let you end the week / episode without giving a huge shout out to the happy warrior Roxanne Modafferi. If you can please give us a few words on her career now that it's finally coming to an end. Viva Helwani. What a great way to end today's show and the week. Roxanne Modafferi. The first time I was introduced to Roxanne Modafferi was via her MySpace blogs. She used to write these MySpace blogs as she was living in Japan. And she was working as an English teacher and also training and following her dreams. And she obviously, the first thing that you see when you see Roxanne is you think to yourself, this isn't your typical fighter, right? She doesn't look like your typical fighter. She looks like a school teacher. She looks very nice. She's not menacing. She's not tough. She's not mean. She's just very different than your quote unquote typical fighter. And her blogs were very entertaining. They were very unique. They were fun to read. And here was this American chasing this dream in Japan. And so she was winning fights. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. 2007, she won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. 2007, 2008. And then she got a big opportunity to fight in Strikeforce against Marlus Kunin at 145. And that was the first time I met her. November of 2009. Hoffman Estates, Illinois. I posted the video yesterday of the media day. And you meet her, and she's so likable. She's so warm. And, you know, she's quirky, but she's fun. She's unique. And it's just amazing that someone with the glasses and the hair and that demeanor can be that great of a fighter and have that kind of courage to step in a cage. And then, you know, there was a period shortly thereafter she lost that fight where she lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row, including her UFC debut. And I remember talking to her at her UFC debut afterwards. And she got the opportunity because she was on Team Rousey and Team Tate. And she lost to Raquel Pennington at the finale. And she didn't win that fight, and she didn't get a UFC contract. And I think a lot of us at that point, after losing her 6th straight fight professionally, thought, all right, that might be it. She made it to the UFC. God bless Roxy. She was an OG of the sport. At that point, she was 15 and 11. She made it to the UFC. She made it to the dance. This will probably be it for her. And so ultimately, I think what Roxanne Modafferi's legacy in this sport is going to be not necessarily that she looked different, that she acted different, that she wasn't tough, menacing, you know, intimidating like your typical fighter. Ultimately, to me, how I will remember the happy warrior who gifted me this many years ago and signed it for me, and she would walk out with this, and I would love nothing more than to see her walk out with one of these old school fans on Saturday. Ultimately, how I will remember her and what I think her legacy is, I think it's that she didn't give up. She didn't quit. When we thought that she was going to quit many times throughout her career. Because what happened after that Raquel Pennington fight? She beat Tyler Rosa. She beat Andrea Lee. She beat Deanna Bennett. She went to Invicta and kept fighting and kept fighting and kept fighting, and then became, I do believe, the first, definitely female, maybe male, definitely, I mean, one of the first to go back on The Ultimate Fighter. She signed up for the house twice. That's someone who doesn't quit. That's someone who doesn't give up. That's someone who doesn't succumb. She went back to the damn house and was on that season that was ultimately won by Nico Montano and fought for the belt, if you recall, because of the Sajara Eubanks missing weight situation, but ended up fighting for the belt. Roxanne Modafferi, who you would never in a million years would think ever fought for a living, didn't make it to the UFC the first time. Well, she made it to the UFC, but didn't get the contract, fought and clawed and scratched her way back to the UFC through the house and made it to a freaking title fight. And she lost the title fight, but she has never been out of the UFC since. And I remember when they tried to serve her up to Macy Barber on that Conor card, and she beat Macy Barber in the biggest upset of the year. She also beat Antonina Shevchenko. She also beat Barb Honchak. She beat Andrea Lee. Those are solid wins over solid fighters. And so what I will say to Roxy is congratulations on an incredible career. Congratulations on defying the odds. And congratulations on your longevity and for not giving up. When a lot of people said you should give up, when a lot of people said that you should quit, that you shouldn't be re-signed by the UFC, and by the way, it was the right call to bring her back. Just witness the fact that she beat Shevchenko and she beat Barber and she beat Andrea Lee. Congratulations on teaching us all to not give up and to keep fighting and to not listen to anyone who says that you shouldn't be doing what you're doing and to not listen to anyone who says you aren't good enough. What a legacy, what a career, what a trailblazer, what a pioneer. And we use those words often. When you talk about Roxanne Modafferi, when you talk about the Happy Warrior, you need to use those words. You need to call her that because she is that. And again, if there's one, I mean, there's a lot of things that I will talk about until the day I stop covering the sport. But the number, I don't know, 2 thing, 3. I mean, obviously fighter pay and pensions and all that stuff are very important. But the way we treat the heroes of this sport and the legends of this sport and the way in which we don't remember them and honor them long after they're gone breaks my heart. And so a Roxanne Modafferi, whenever there's an MMA Hall of Fame, she should be in there. She should be remembered. She should be immortalized there forever. Because without the Roxanne Modafferis of the world, there aren't the great women's fighters that we're seeing today. There aren't the Casey O'Neills who she's fighting in her final UFC fight. And so I hope she gets her moment. I hope she gets a massive ovation on Saturday. I hope if she wins, she gets that moment on the mic. And even if she loses, because let's be honest, the deck is stacked against her, but she's been here before. I hope she gets to put her gloves in the cage and I hope she gets to go on the mic and say thank you to everyone, not only in Houston, but around the world. An absolute legend, in my opinion, beloved by all. And I saw a quote, and I'll end with this. I saw a quote on my Twitter feed very quickly here from Israel Adesanya. It was tweeted by the MMA fighting account. Izzy talking about Roxanne Modafferi ahead of her 50th professional fight. I'm glad I met her. She is just a gem and a pure soul. If you don't like her, then fuck you. Well said, Izzy. If you don't like Roxanne Modafferi, fuck you.